Coughing? Exit out of the app. This isn't the John Mayer. Okay. Let me take a look at the stream to see if there's anything weird. Doesn't seem like it. Cool. All right, so we're gonna do a little VOD review. Let me open up my channel. See if there's anything weird. Doesn't seem like it. Cool. All right, copy. Put this here. Dokie. Artichoke. Let me change. Why is it negative 3.2? I increased it to -1. So it doesn't like blind out. Okay. We're gonna do liquid. I think I just want to look at dark zero for now. TSM. Actually, let's take a look at TSM. Split one playoffs, 5/4/2024. Okay, that's pre-game. Once again, I want to thank Tim, who creates ALGS VODs, who picked up where Alban Gate Gaming left off. So, like, Tim is amazing, dude. This is just.
Yep, going to my spot too.
They lose the contest, I think. Nope, they just skipped the contest here.
Yep, going to my spot too.
Take a look at this.
Run to that building, like quick.
Where is this? Let me pause for a second. I'm gonna grab my phone charger, or just my cable. I guess I'll attach it to my laptop, and then I will charge my phone. And then while my phone is charging, I can look at chat comments without leaving because I don't have two windows. Okay. So I have this. Right, I'm back. I have my chat open on my phone. Inside, only on my laptop. Okay, I'm not a good streamer. I'll tell you that. Okay. Is this uncontested? Oh no, because
I'm ready to go.
RR lands basically a Thunder Watch.
Still looting.
I have an L-stock car.
The gold res.
Nice.
And they immediately leave towards compound.
I have none.
Don't be afraid to use your ult. No fix outs. I
Go
have no
east
bats,
side of the map.
I have one bat.
Dropping you 1 F3. Someone watch our back a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Horizon or.
Follow us.
Yep.
I understand why they're doing like these late rotations to walk into ring late with both information and shield. It's like the old exit strategy. And Aurora does this well to some degree. Except the difference is Aurora adapted by changing their legend comp, you know, to be more aggressive. If that makes any sense. So I don't know. I don't want to make any kind of like assumptions or conclusions right now. This is such a slow rotation. What was that map? Did they open their map at all after the scan? Oh, you can't see their map opening. I forgot about that. That's a little silly. Yeah. Enemy scanned. Can't open the map. That's unfortunate. Hell on Hound, which is a little weird.
We can
No
go
one's
to that
holding this hill.
cave.
To skip ahead. Okay, so what ring is this? Damn, I wish he opened a map. Yeah, it pulls away. So they guess the ring wrong,
Yep.
right? Okay, so in a situation like this, right, they're caught out on edge. And again, we've talked about this before, the concept of white circle, edge, choke. So you have white circle, then you have edge, and then you have a choke, right? Technically, this is a choke. Technically, that is a choke. Um, this is perfectly fine to hold. It's not perfectly fine to hold. It's kind of subpar. You can hold this if you're in a power position. Unfortunately, there are no power positions here. Like that house is not really a power position, right? Because when you go up here, any teams that go through tunnel will have building to block them, and any teams who come here can have a little bit of cover here. So it's not entirely a power position. There are like places up here that you can chill on, like the little mushrooms, as well. If you spread out, so maybe you take building, top of building here, mushroom here, and you spread out a bit. One thing, the other thing I don't like about what's happening here
I'm
is
just gonna go
that
back inside. I'm
they're
scanning
not
right now.
what teams. Okay, so here's the deal. They have one team shooting from height. Is there anybody in this building? The one behind them? Let's take a look at the scan. Yeah, there's nobody at that building. So in a situation like this, you'd want to take both buildings, even though there's somebody here. Even if you have, we're going to do enemies as triangles. So TSM here, and you have enemies here. Yeah, spread out a bit. Obviously don't go down, but you want to expand your presence a little bit. So white circle edge choke. Remember, white circle edge choke. The main issue with white circle edge choke is that you have people there on edge, and it's just going to get congested. With this many squads left, there's going to be at least 3 teams here.
Other one either. You just scanned it, right?
I wonder if this is.
Let's go straight west. Grab the gun and go west.
Yep. Up here.
You guys out.
Yeah, they're getting held out again. So they have white circle edge choke. So technically, this is sort of a power position, but there's no cover. Like Hal's playing on an area with like no cover, right? He's playing here to have like get information, but the issue with this is he's Bloodhound, which is not a movement character, you know? So it would be much better if Reps was the one who's down here to get information, because with double time, he can immediately go back and smoke if he needs to, right? Here, with Hal down here, of course he can get smokes from Bangalore, but he doesn't have the extra speed unless he wastes his ult, which is not good. For Verhulst, he can also play down here as well to get information and look right, but this is already an issue. That the fact that he's getting in, that Hal's the only one who's getting information for their east. In fact, Hal should be up here looking for their next position. That's his job as the IGL. So the roles here are already like confusing.
Water here.
I see that. I see that. I don't want to waste a shot on that.
They're gonna get. They're gonna get. The guy top
God rock.
Yeah, and he's shooting with Havoc. Yeah, I'm sure. I guarantee that if you switched over to Verhulst and to Reps, that they have long-range guns, like, marksman guns.
Red armor, God rock.
And he's shooting with...
Okay, they're getting in the car here.
Yeah, they should have switched roles here. And
They're getting in the
everyone's
car.
looking the same direction right now. With this many squads, you need somebody to identify your threats. So you have, Verhulst anchoring this side here. Yeah, I think this is backwards.
They got in the car. They're driving into the choke. That's them. Okay.
So again, when you have 1 minute, if you look at the timer, when the ring is closing, from the 1 minute mark to 40 seconds, you need to start thinking and acting about your next position, right? They have 8 seconds to complete whatever idea and plan that they have down here. This was already a mistake. They needed to start looking for positions around here. Of course, these houses are taken, but I don't even think they looked. Can we go back here and take a look and see if they were looking at all?
There's people crossing marching north side.
Okay, so they're looking. So there's teams here, right? That makes sense.
Careful, I'm watching north side, guys.
There's teams on the northeast.
Yep.
Let's skip ahead.
I'm trying to look for these kills, bro.
Only thinking about clearing their back.
Are they shooting someone on the right?
I hit the bank for 140. They have purple armor.
Play all the
Okay,
space then.
ring pulls away from
I'm
them,
4-3.
and they know it, right?
We need to try to kill this bridge team.
Yeah, I know. Can you walk up and I'm gonna start angling on the right?
Yep, I'm gonna walk up. We're trying to get a Kraber shot.
Just be careful.
So technically they have enough time to do this, but I think, they should have started already doing this already. Look how long it takes them to make a decision about wiping this team. So what is this? 6 seconds?
For 140. They have purple armor.
I'm scanning that way.
6.
I got scanned for bridge. I didn't scan anybody east. Okay. We can play all the space then on the east side.
You
I'm
wasted
4-3.
scan.
We need
Not
to try to
really a
kill this
waste.
Yeah, I know. Can you walk up?
Let's see how much
I'm gonna
time.
start angling on the
10
right.
seconds have passed.
Yep, I'm gonna walk up.
We're trying to get a Kraber shot.
Just be careful up high. They're gonna shoot you if you try to walk up too far.
Yeah. I'm just looking for a Kraber
20
shot.
seconds have passed.
They're right here. That's them.
Okay.
30 seconds have passed from their decision. 30 seconds. That's really not good. They've spent 30 whole seconds. That is half a minute between making the decision to push this team and actually pushing that team. There's a lot of hesitation here. Instead, what could have been done, and I could be completely talking about out of my ass here.
I think they'll die.
They're playing really, really slowly. And Hal is the information gatherer. He's the hound. He could go out here immediately around this, the 1 minute and 22 second mark. Immediately go out here and just start scanning people. He could have sent maybe Verhulst to look east, have reps hold height behind them, have Verhulst look right, and then he can go west, to the bridge to make a scan there instead of wasting scan on their back. That was a waste of a scan, poor utility, and then they waste 30 whole seconds. It's half a minute of time making the decision and then acting on their decision to get these kills. That's a lot of time wasted, and then my guess is that they get held out here. I don't remember this game exactly.
I collided all 3 of them. Just look, I'm holding watch our back.
And then they're just gonna get held out here. Hal's job again around the 1 minute mark, so 0-0. Oopsies, sorry. 0-1-0-0 to 0-0, 40 seconds. He needs to start thinking about their next position. How do we win this game? When you're in a situation like this, in rings 4 through 6, basically, the flow chart is priorities. What is your priority and what are your threats? Those are the two main things that you need to think about in rings 4 through 6. So here, they've identified their threats. This is clear. This is sort of clear. These teams might double back that way. And this area is clear. All they have to do is worry about going over here, right? On that arrow. So, with threats neutralized, you can focus about your priorities. What is your priority? This workflow, this flowchart, goes into two things, position and kills. Sometimes you can only choose a position. Sometimes position is your biggest priority, right? Other times, kills are your priority. Let's say you realize you're not going to win the game. It is not match point, and your biggest focus is to get as many points as possible to get into match point. And to maximize your point. So if you know that you're not going to win the game, then you think about the fact that, okay, if we're not going to win the game, let's get as many points as we can. So you focus on kills. However, you can get both. So the real priority is how can we get both? And if both aren't possible, then just get one or the other. Okay? Here, these are the things you need to think about in the 1 minute to 40-second mark. It's already too late because they wasted 30 seconds on this whole finagle. And also, it's just wasting cues. Okay? Nobody here is scouting for information. No one's scouting, no one's scanning these buildings, no one's using their 2 to 4 or 3x or 2x to scout what's happening here. No one's using the Bangalore to smoke in a building, walk in, see what's happening, and see what's happening on the other side. Look for openings, because if you again, position and kills. If you're prioritizing position, if you think you can get to top 5 or get into a spot that can get you a lot of kills, right? You need to think about those, like your next position. There's no purpose to their actions right now. It's my biggest worry. It's my biggest concern. Hey, Chris. Hey, Kalipos.
I'm watching our back. That's all you guys. That's literally all you guys.
Yeah.
All they're doing right now is identifying threats, and they're sort of looking for kills. Now he scans, right? But right now, Hal should be thinking about their next steps. And not just Hal. Hal, as the IGL, should be thinking about next step. What is our next step? Right? But guess who else has to be thinking about that too? Reps and Verhulst. Verhulst and Reps both need to communicate to Hal around the 1 minute to 40-second mark right here, right? This is 27 seconds. We're on the 1 minute and 40-second mark. They need to remind Hal, hey, what's our next step? What is our next step? They have to ask him, what's our next step? What's our next step? Right now, nobody is talking about endgame. Nobody is talking about what do we do next. This is troubling because Hal is one of the smartest IGLs in the world, and he's known to think about these next steps. The fact that he's not thinking about these next steps is very concerning to me. And I think this is going to be a motif and common issue we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of this LAN. And it's unfortunate.
We're playing for the roof. You're gonna have to smoke the windows, Jordan, and we queue up under the roof. Okay?
There's teams over here though. Bangal's not gonna do anything.
Let's listen to those comms.
Yeah. I'm gonna peek this left side. Energy mag here.
1 minute mark.
Level 1.
That Bangal
We can play the roof. We can play the roof and mark it later. We can play the roof.
Okay, now he's talking about roof. We can play it later. right? So they are talking about it a little bit, but there's no certainty.
Mark it later.
Yeah. Somebody else might try and take it though. We might be quick.
We can easily.
Ooh, I like that. Verhall says somebody else might
TSM.
be taking
Okay,
it soon, so we can play it quick.
There's a guy right here. There's a lot of shots here. A lot of shots here. On my ping.
Oh, so they're prioritizing kills. Again, position or kills, so they're prioritizing kills right now. That's it. That makes more sense.
Getting.
There's a full team on my ping. They're in the
Can we
car.
go to height? Can we go to height?
Yep.
Shoot high! Shoot high! Shoot a kite cross!
Go
right now! Go
One
right
team
now!
up. One team queued up, I think.
Go high now! Go high
Throw in your
now!
queue. Throw in your queue. Take it. Take it. On the right. On the right.
I smoked us. I smoked
One.
us. Across from us, guys.
Ultimate.
I'm gonna die. Drop,
Behind. Something like
Give me knock.
I'm behind!
Not a fan of playing height.
Bro, like, focus the fucking height!
Okay, so here the issue again is that Hal, big boy Hal, he believes that the immediate problem was not focusing height. However, their problem was much earlier. Their earliest mistake was here.
Yep. I'm watching over.
As soon as this ring closed and they knew what was happening next, they weren't thinking about, look at this. Again, this was their earliest mistake. Like, they died here because of what happened here. It seems hyperbolic and it seems like, talking out of my ass.
Drop TC cells. I have heavy.
Okay, you hear that communication? Right, let's time this again. So there's 3 seconds left. He says we need to focus these guys here. And what I mean by here is north. Also, in terms of communication, they're not using north, south, east, and west at all. And they're not using left and right, which is problematic. And it's causing a lot of confusion and delay in their response to the communication. So, let's just keep watching. This is 5 seconds left until the round is closing.
By the way, if you need me.
Listen, can we focus this team to the fucking north at the rock? Just focus them.
Yep.
It's 5,
There's people crossing the water here.
1,
I don't want to waste a
2.
shot on.
Hard here, I think.
So we have a whole minute
Yeah. Picking this.
of nothing happening here.
Careful. I'm
With you again, Jordan.
Okay, so they're just losing.
I think they all died. Liquid all died.
This
They were
is
shooting that
perfectly
direction,
fine
yeah.
what they're
I
doing
hit the
here
bank for
right now.
140. They have purple
I'm
armor.
Right, this is
scanning,
perfectly
I'm
fine.
I got scanned for
They're
bridge.
just
scanning
reacting to
ready, I'm scanning
information.
ready.
Okay, so here, let's go back a little
They
bit.
have purple
I'm
armors.
scanning that way.
I think they did. They were shooting that direction. Yeah. I hit the bank for 140. They have purple
I'm
armors.
scanning that way.
I got scanned for
I
bridge.
didn't need some of the
140
right.
on the bank. 140
Might
on
have
the
been.
bank.
Okay, so here, this is the issue. This is the main issue. They want to go west. There's a team west that they want to get kill KP on, right? 11 seconds. We'll fast forward 30 seconds from now.
I couldn't tell.
I'm
Armors.
scanning.
Then Elise said.
I'm 4-3.
That's 11
Can you
seconds have
walk up and-
passed.
Just be careful of height. They're gonna shoot you if you try to
Height's
walk
gonna-
up too
yeah,
far.
yeah. I'm just looking for a Kraber shot on them.
Just be. I'm gonna start angle.
So it begins at 1:30.
Walk up too
Yeah,
far.
yeah. I'm just looking for a Kraber shot on them.
15 seconds. So 15, 16,
They moved? I
26.
think they smoked across. Can we scan
Okay,
them?
so 30 seconds have passed. 30.
Take one.
Missed. I missed.
I have 80 heavy. I have 80 energy.
Holy shit, a whole minute has passed. What is it? What's the math on that? 30? Yeah, 40 seconds have passed before they first started shooting. And nobody actually walked up to this bridge because Hal wasted his Q scanning east. And now he has Q again, right? So basically, this is a role issue as well. Like, if we're, okay, so the second earliest mistake, second earliest is this moment, right? Like, he scans here to the right, uses his utility, and he wastes his utility to see if there's like a rat or a team to their east. And he could have used that utility, the Bloodhound scan, to scan the bridge right away and gotten immediate information. Like, this is an issue with passive and dynamic information gathering. or active. Let's do active. Active is simpler. Dynamic sounds too academic, right? So passive information is this is their POI that they have, and this is all the information that they can get. It's not really a lot, right? But if they're here and he sends his Bangalore out here, he sends Verhals out here, and he himself goes out here, then look at this. You have 3 little circles to get all of this information. You expand your ability to retrieve information, right? And I'm not saying send everybody out. Maybe just send 2 people out or 1 person out. But your information is much more dynamic. The reason why they're not acting on pushing this team north of them and towards the west is because they just don't have the information. So just go out there. An easy way to solve this is just go out there and see what the fuck is over there. So that's their second earliest mistake. Their first earliest mistake happened even before the game. It's their role. Yes, it's perfectly fine for him to be on Bloodhound. However, he has to know that since they're making decision based off of information, which is why he's probably on Bloodhound, he needs to use his teammates together to gather information, and he can't be the only one who gets information, if that makes any sense. So he needs to have reps go over here, take a look what's happening over there on the right, and then he can go down here and scan that. So this is a role issue, I think. And so basically the 2 main issues here are role issues. And I'm not talking about legend comp, I'm talking about role, like who gathers information. And then the second issue is like slow decision making. Like this is actually causing the slow decision making because they just don't have, like they're just not getting information basically fast enough. They're like standing in one place, like hoping to get the information. But it's bad. Like that's one of the best things about Bangalore is you can just like, let's pretend that this is your POI again. Like let's say this box is your POI, right? And you have a Bangalore. The Bangalore can go out here, and then look at all that information she can get, right? The Bloodhound can go over here and then scan. Look at all that information he can get. And then you have your anchor right here, just looking here. Do you see that? So if the Bangalore wasn't here, if the Bangalore decides not to go out and use the double time and the smokes to actively get information, then the only information that the Bangalore gets is what's within line of sight. Oopsies, sorry. It's just this. That's not good. All right, I'm not going to harp on this too much. The reason I'm talking about this so much in game 1 is because if this is happening in game 1, I bet this is going to be a continuous problem in the longer games. Loving the VOD of you. Thanks, Swagger. I appreciate it. Sorry if it speaks quietly. I don't want to wake anybody up. I'm at an Airbnb right now. Okay. Have a pause. Is this a contest? Can't tell. No, it's not. So the same thing. They leave towards compound on the east side of the map. Bad loot. Okay, so this is them compensating for their bad loot and not being able to play the game correctly because of contests. Not really their fault here, to be honest with you. They're just trying to make lemonade, which is what TSM does. I think they get caught out here.
Where's the storm?
So they get their shields up to blue, finally.
After you grab the thing, you grab
Yeah.
that?
Grabbing it.
Doors are open. That's not good. See that door? Door is open. That should have already been... Wait a minute, I want to go back. Did they not notice this?
Fine. Go grab that Eva.
Yep, going for it right now.
Team to the west.
Nobody's
coming
stormed.
towards us.
Pylon.
Oh, they're all like bunching up here too. This is so inefficient. Look at this. They're all bunching up. This is like 10 seconds of them bunching up here. somebody should have immediately taken responsibility and taken ownership and say, hey, I'm going to grab this right away. Like, this should be like all. I talked about this with Calamitous, who I think is the most underrated IGL in the world. I forget how he puts it, but the way I think about it now is a chain of decision making, right? So they go from prowlers to. So basically, they go from. Sorry, we'll do it on the mini map. Go from prowlers to this, and then based off of their scans, they go here. This is all. You're thinking like 3 steps ahead, right? But it seems like reps and Verhulst, they're not thinking about that. They're maybe thinking 2 steps ahead. Like right now, they're just thinking about from 1 to 2 rather than 1, 2, 3. But the thing is, though, this is a chain of choices and decisions based off of only Hal and maybe reps for smoking. So you have reps for smoke, you have Hal for here, and then you have Verhulst to get this. And then maybe you have reps look up the hill, right? So there should be like you should make your own chain of decisions. So Hal has his chain of decisions, and then Verhulst should have his own chain of decisions, right? But right now, this is like he's just acting. He's just thinking very slowly. Like everyone's thinking like super slow, you know. You know when you eat too much food and then you can't think after. This is what it looks like.
Can you smoke this over here and so I can hit this?
I mean, look at this. Holy shit! What is happening? I'm so bad at YouTube, dude. That's crazy. Okay, we're gonna double back here. I want to show you something.
Over here and so I can hit this.
Okay, pause this for a second. Look at this. Everybody, this is crazy. If you look at both Reps and Verhulst on the minimap, they're both looking up. Like no one is establishing any roles right now. No one's taking ownership of any roles. Like everyone's just like looking southeast, which is we're just south, which is crazy.
More like Zeus or something.
Like Hal's the only one right now thinking like 3 steps ahead.
So I can hit this.
It seems like a small thing, but like if this is like how you think and you think this slowly and you only think like 2 steps ahead, I could see why IGLs get frustrated. This is what IGLs talk about when they want their teammates to be self-sufficient, right? Like if you're, and this is why I'm a huge fan of players who are not IGLs learn to become IGLs because they can be more valuable to their team. Like here, what the fuck? You should have gotten that already. Like, I think one of the biggest issues with players is they only think about when they play the game, they think they are Bloodhound, right? You're not. When you play the game, you are Bloodhound, you are Bangalore, and you are I can't even think of Horizon, right? You are all 3 characters. You are not this character. Okay? You are all 3 of them. So even if you're not playing that character, you have to you have to believe in your mind that Horizon's Q is your Q. Her alt is your alt, right? And you have to believe that when you're sending your IGL to get this scan, you are also like this is like in moments like this is not an FPS game. This is a real-time strategy game, right? Where you have multiple pieces on the board at once. So once again, you are not your character. You are all 3 characters on the board at the same time. And this clearly shows that Reps and Verhulst, at least in this moment, they definitely have shown moments where they don't think like this, but at least in this moment, they firmly believe that they are their characters. You are all 3 characters. Let's keep going.
What do you have?
A vault with the blue mag.
Scan. Skip ahead.
Chase.
One's
They're
zipping
zipping up right now.
Yeah, yeah. After you grab the thing, you grab,
Yeah,
grab
yeah.
that.
Everything about their decision making is so slow. It's so slow, bro. It's so slow. It's like me in a rank when I'm just vibing with my friends. Like they should be thinking about like, okay, we got that scan. We look at the map. We know there's a team coming this way. There's no urgency in their voice, right? They're just like vibing out right now, right? Like you should. Okay, we have. If here's the deal, right? If Verhulst or Reps had gotten this earlier, he would not be slowed down, right? And the fact that Hal is ahead of them and he's not Bangalore, look at the distance between him and his teammate. It's huge. It's a huge distance. Like, and the thing that determines like everything in a fight is pacing, which is just timing. And like if your teammates are this far behind, then there's nothing that they can do, right? And again, a lot of this can be solved just by thinking a few steps ahead and thinking about your decisions as a chain of decisions, right? I'm going to go from A to B to C, right? And then B to C. And then you think about the fact like, oh, if B is here, we have enemies coming from this direction, right? And then once we go to C, we have to think about enemies coming in from this direction. And then you're identifying threats. This is much more dynamic, right? And here, this like what's happening here right now in this moment isn't the issue. It's what should have happened like 20 seconds or earlier. Like what's happening here is the real issue. Like all three of them should not be doing prowlers. They only need two people max to do prowlers. One person to scan, the other person to get the thingamajiggy, the juicer. That's the earliest mistake. So we're just going over earliest mistakes right now.
Strip it off. Bang! Bang is almost cracked. We're getting landed.
Landed.
We gotta run. We gotta run.
I'm grabbing his bang. I'm grabbing his. No, just. They didn't land on height.
Yes, they're on height. They're on height.
Can you smoke me? Can you smoke me?
I'm not even interested in what's happening at this point. Maybe set.
I'm not peeking
I'm
anybody.
trying to loot this south dock.
We're not going to analyze fights. We're just going to analyze everything else. But yeah, the decision making is just incredibly slow. And when I say slow, like it takes them like 30 seconds to make a decision. And a lot of that's because one, they don't have information, and two, like people are just viewing the game incorrectly. Again, you are not your character. You are all three characters. They're caught out on an edge here again because of these late rotations. Like I don't know why they thought this was going to be okay. Oh, I remember this ring. And these rings were terrible. Like land rings were just terrible this season. The split. They need to make some sort of like exception rule. I don't think there was a single circle on the bottom right half of the map in World's Edge towards like Lava Siphon. I'm pretty sure there wasn't.
They're going to like
They landed
waterfall.
in the water. Yeah, in the water. Here. They landed here.
Okay.
Okay, so again, remember rings 4 through 6. The two things you need to think about are what? Position, sorry, priorities. What is our priority? And threats. Right now they're thinking about threats. Okay? And then priorities transforms into position and or kills. Ideally, you want both. Cool thing about threats is they can turn into kills, right? Which is why you want to think about that. So right now, you need to think about the fact like, hey, are we getting threats? Are we getting a position right now? Or are we getting kills? And the thing that we want to look for is the timer that appears right here.
I cracked one.
Round 3.
Can we look to kill these guys now? Can we look to kill these guys?
Yeah. Coming to you guys
Right?
now.
You hear that comm? It's like, can we look to kill these guys? So, Hal is just focusing on kills right now.
I got pride, bro. I'm gonna need cells. Dropping you 2 cells, that's all I got.
You gonna start throwing bango and shit?
I am.
They're already
Bangling them.
not a great start to the fight. The pacing on this is bad.
They
I'm
bangled
walking
us
up on
too.
anytime. I'm walking up on anytime.
Yeah,
Going far left.
going as well. Smoking on top of the rock right now. Shoot us up the rock, shoot us up the rock.
Okay, you hear that Verhulst says Q on top of the rock, right? So this is another example of where he does think like all three characters are him. Like all three characters are who he is, rather than just and he's like saying, I'm queuing up the top, and basically what he's saying is like, take the queue with me. That's what he's trying to say. But if you notice, like all of their comms, they're just narrating what they're doing. No one's really telling each other what to do. They're not giving each other commands, which is a concern.
I cracked one. Can we walk up?
Yep, going left.
I'm stunned right now.
Okay, I'm scanning.
They are informing versus commanding.
We're getting shot in the back. We're just getting leaned in the back. We gotta push in.
Great. So remember, Parkour Cat, if you're in here, what do we talk about? White circle, edge, choke. This is already a bad fight from the beginning. Why? Because they're white circle, they are on edge, and this is a choke. Why is this a bad position? Because they don't have. The question is, do you have power position? Do you have cover and height and information? Do you have a power position? Oopsies. I can't spell. No. Who is in the power position here? It's certainly not TSM. Has to be CR. This team has a power position. This is TSM. This is the opposing team. And they're approaching from open space on white circle edge choke. What does that mean? When they're fighting, they have to be incredibly aware of the fact that there's going to be other teams looking at them. So the fact that they're getting shot in the back, nobody talks about this at all. Remember, identify threats before the fight even happens. Let's rewind and listen to the comms and see if anybody talks about the threats before this fight. Not just the people that they're going to fight, but the threats around the fight.
They might land in front of us.
Let's listen to these comms.
They're going to like
They landed
waterfall.
in the water. Yeah, in the water. Here. They landed here.
Okay.
I cracked one.
What the hell?
Can we look to kill these guys now? Can we look to kill these guys?
Yeah. Coming to you guys now. I got pride, bro. I'm gonna need cells. Dropping you 2 cells, that's all I got.
You get it?
Okay, so before the fight even starts, they need to think about they need to communicate and talk aloud about threats outside of this 3v3. This is the 3v3, 3 here, 3 there, right? They need to talk about threats outside of this 3v3, because this is where they are on the map. This is where the enemy is on the map, right? They need to think about the fact that there's fucking 16 squads left. That means out of this, there's 14 squads, and they're probably full teams. And with on ring 3 closing like this, on white circle edge choke, this is a choke. Why do chokes matter on white circle edge? It's because that's where teams funnel, right? And you have a drop coming in. So what do? You have to discuss the fact that there's going to be teams over here. Why is that important? Because you can set up the fight much better. If they had discussed these opposing threats and possible threats coming their way, let's say they don't have any information on the people coming this way, but they need to simulate in their heads that there's a very strong possibility other people are going to be here on white circle edge choke. And why is that important? Because that would have helped reps prepare for the fight better. And why reps? It's because he has the smokes. He can smoke here beforehand and ult here in case they get shot in the back. or ult here already, you know? They can use their utility different. They're going to approach the fight entirely different. This is actually why I think Catalyst meta was really, really good, because it taught characters and it taught players um, awareness outside of the things that they're looking at. You know, don't just look at things that are happening, look at the things that might happen, right? So you have your team here, you have the enemy here. If you had a catalyst, you can isolate the fight with a wall, so that way any potential threats can't look at you, right? But since you don't have a catalyst, what do? You use your bang smoke or your bang ult. Of course, it's a timing thing, that's a positioning thing, and that's something that you learn from experience. So they already made a mistake in this fight about 20 seconds before the fight even started. That's problematic. Does anybody have any questions? I just realized I wasn't checking chat at all. Anybody have questions? I'll just put it in the chat if you guys have a question. I don't know if this is confusing. I'm kind of just mostly talking to myself
I am on
at this
bangle
point.
them.
By the way, I I do these sessions. This is how I VOD review myself. This is actually the best way to VOD review, in my opinion. If you want to learn how to VOD review, you actually teach during the VOD review. This is called the Feynman method, named after the famous physicist and professor Richard Feynman. Feynman method. Basically, the Feynman method is one of the fastest ways to learn any skill is to teach it, right? So you approach the thing as if you're teaching. This is why coaches are valued. It's because they teach. So I recommend that next time you VOD review, you record yourself out loud and don't think it in your head. Talk aloud and talk as if you're talking to somebody and as if you're teaching something to somebody. Now, why do you want to teach something? Remember, you don't want to lecture. Why don't you want to lecture? Because lecturers use complex words, complicated words, and they try to sound smart. You don't want to do either. You want to teach. The difference between a teacher and a lecturer is a teacher keeps things simple, simple enough that even like a 5-year-old understands, and they are willing to be wrong. Okay? So lecturer, don't try to lecture. Don't try to sound like an academic or an intellectual. Instead of keeping things complicated, keep it simple. Instead of keeping things trying to sound smart, be okay with being wrong. So that's the Feynman method, basically. No questions, just listening while I pass out. Cool. I didn't realize it was an ASMR channel. I'm glad I can help out. Sleep is the most important thing. I can't understate that enough, overstate that enough. Chris, if you're in the chat, you know. Ruko, you know. Randy, you know. Like, I feel like every 2 weeks I have a conversation with somebody. Their life is falling apart, and I always ask, did you get enough sleep? And they say no, every single time. Okay, so yeah, the way they approached this fight was just not good. They didn't prepare themselves. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at this fight, and we're gonna look at the comms. This is such a late rotation. Holy crap. That's crazy. Kind of speed running through this right now. Also, they don't they're really bad at spiders. They need to talk to Green Bean about how to approach spiders faster. The way they do spiders is so slow. They could literally cut the time in half to maybe like 0.3 times compared to what they originally do.
On the floor. Fight on 40 on 40.
Okay, so I want to hear the communication before this fight happens.
Walk up on that.
Yep, coming.
So they hear the
Might get mirrored as well. Behind.
so they hear the
Finish
fight.
spiders.
No.
Shoot that last one. Okay, come over here. I think they just full killed one.
There's an Evo too. I can go for this Evo.
Yeah. We want to fucking grab
Still
the building.
here.
I can go for this Evo. So there's a bit of like now they're thinking about it, but they should have like if you're not an IGL, you should be opening up your map. They should have known about this Evo like 30 seconds ago. Again, it's like a chain of decisions, right? While they were up here in A and shooting these spiders at B to get information of what's happening over here at C, right? Jordan should have been thinking about this already. The fact that he's bringing it up now tells me he doesn't open up his map enough. That's not good. He needs to open up his map more, and he needs to open up earlier.
Here, I think.
We want to welcome grab the main building.
Hey,
I'm going for the
Flacco.
Evo right now, okay?
They're fighting underneath. They're fighting
I see him
underneath.
right here. I
Sleep
see one right here.
Underneath.
Best aim
Give me
left.
up.
How you doing, Flacco? Okay, so everyone's just standing. Do you see this arrows? Everyone's standing right here. Everyone's just standing in the same corner. Like no one's positioning themselves in ways to get information outside of just the information from here. They're literally standing in a straight line. I guarantee you, if somebody stood up here with a Kraber and just shot straight at them, they get a collateral. This is really just bad. They got to fan out more to get information. They have a Horizon who could have gone up here already. There's boxes right here that they could have climbed to get information. At least begin to see, at least begin to fan out instead of just like piling up in the same area. This is so weird to me to see TSM like this because they don't normally fight like this. This is just bizarre. Do they like do TDMs daily? I don't know. This is confusing. This like makes me sad because they're such a like smart fighting team. Yeah, I don't know. This makes me sad, man.
On the floor. Fight on 40 on 40 blue.
I'm
40
pushing
blue.
this. I'm fully killing this kid.
Yep.
Get inside, bro. Get inside.
Okay, here's a trick. Slide jump. Like, just jump over, right? Okay. Hey, TSM, if you're watching this, go to Twitter or YouTube, find Gruick, watch all of his videos, or hire him. Don't hire me, hire Gruick. Gruick is considerably smarter and better than I am when it comes to fighting and movement. Just jump over this dude. You're wasting bullets, you're wasting time, and look at this. Everyone's fucking stacked on this door. That's crazy. No one's talking about if anyone's on top. No one's identifying threats. This is crazy.
Stopping that.
Get the Evo. Get the Evo.
Right behind them.
They went out. They went out. They went to height.
Going for the Evo.
Do you hear this? Now he's getting the Evo. It's literally, he mentioned getting the Evo 40 seconds ago. 40 seconds ago. That was like at I think it was like 1:10. He was talking about getting the Evo, and now he's getting the Evo. And yes, like they knew that there was a fight when they were about here. So again, if they had opened the map, if everybody, not just Hal, had opened the map up here, they could have thought about their chain of actions. A, B, C, D. Then push the fight, right? Everyone gets plus 25 health. in the middle of the fight because their shields go up from blue to purple after they do a little bit of damage. Like, this is one of the biggest issues in this fight too, is because everybody has the same information in this fight. The same information. It's the same thing that, remember we talked about this here? They had the same, like we talked about like static information and active information, right? Like passive information, right? Like this is their POI, and then the only information they have is this. And then that's it. That's their sphere of information. And if a rock blocks their view, then they don't have information. If you skip forward, I knew this was going to be a recurring issue, but I didn't think it'd extend to fighting. Damn, that's like not good. Let's skip ahead again. Yeah, look at this. Everyone's piled up on the same floor. No one's on height. Like, no one's over here on the right. No one's over here on the left to get information. And like, if you're not the IGL, right? If you're not the IGL, your job is to get your IGL information so he can make decisions. Again, you are not the anchor, the fragger, and the IGL. You're everybody. So if you're not Hal, you need to go out here to get Hal information and give your IGL information. The reason, holy shit, this is crazy. A huge reason why Hal can't make decisions and why quickly, I should say, why he can't make decisions quickly is because he doesn't have information. And the information that they have is the same information that he has. So if he had people who were vanguards, if like imagine if reps got the Evo cache right away, right? He would have gone to Evo cache on the left side of Hal, and then he would have walked up here because he scanned and like he already scanned and he knew there was only one person at this building. So Hal just 1v1s that guy, kills him, and then look what happens. And then Verhulst takes height in the building. He realizes Hal doesn't need help. So Verhulst goes to the right and gets information here. Maybe not to the right of the pillar, but then by the time Hal steps out in this exact moment, they will tell him where they are. Do you see the difference in the decision making here? Is this confusing to anybody? That's on Hal's teammates for not thinking about it, or they should have Hal reminded them probably to get there even after doing spiders. Exactly. Yeah. And then there's also the other issue. We talked about this with the timer. The timer is your best friend, right? So from the 0, so basically from the 1 minute mark to the 40-second mark, everybody in the team needs to remind Hal, including Hal himself, what's our next step. Nobody has talked about their next step. Are we getting positions or are we getting kills? That's literally all you're asking. What's our next step? That's it. In fact, 30 seconds has passed since the countdown timer has started at the 1 minute mark, and nobody is talking about that at all. Well, they are. They're saying kills, but no one's thinking about endgame. No one's thinking about ring 4 or 5 or 6. Not good.
With the body.
Good kill, good kill.
Scanning. Wait, one guy is like, there's a duo.
Yeah. You see that? He's like, there's a duo down here, Like, of course, this is LAN, and they have to play tighter together, but they're playing a little too rigid here. Yeah, they need to get more information. And everybody on this team is good enough to LOS other people and identify threats, So it's everyone's just kind of stacking on each other a little too much. Let's keep going.
Oh, wait, there's 2 duos.
So yeah, this is a persistent issue. If we saw this in their macro and we saw this in their micro, this is actually something you should pay attention to. If you see something happen on a macro level, meaning like rotation and positioning, and you see it happen also on a micro level, and you see it happen on a micro level, and it's a bad thing, and it's a bad thing that's happening, that's a pattern of behavior that needs to be addressed right away. Right away. Immediately. And how can we, maybe I'm overreaching here. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if we take a look at this positioning, it takes them literally like almost a minute to decide here what they're doing. And it takes them a whole minute to decide to kill this Northwest team and clear their back. It takes them a whole minute to think about it and act on it. A whole entire minute. I don't think it was a whole minute, but it was around like 30, 40 seconds, which is not good, right? That happened in game 1. In game 3, same thing happened right here.
I'm pushing up Phoenix. I need pop. There's 2 duos, I think. I'm pushing.
Same thing happened right here. So that's what happened in game 1 on a macro level, right? It's taking them, it's because, why did this happen? It's because nobody's getting information actively. They all have the same information. If you're not the IGL, non-IGLs get information for your IGLs to make decisions. If you have a new IGL and you've been playing with them for 3 months and you're like, man, my IGL is slow at making decisions, it's probably your fault. You're probably not giving them enough information. You probably have the exact same information. If you're all standing in the same place and you're looking at the same thing, nothing's happening. You're not getting new information. And it's the exact same thing that's happening here. Right here. Right? The way they're approaching this fight.
I have 6 back. Like here, I think.
We're gonna be.
Yeah.
We can run to
The way they're approaching this fight
I need
is it's not even a fight, right? This should go from A to B. This should be how. We're going to do A1 and B1. This is how. A1 to B1. Reps should be A1, A2 to B2. What is B2? It is this. The Evo cache. Verhulst. A1 to A3 to B3. He should be on height right here. Do you see the difference? Like, one, the amount of information that they have is so much more dynamic. Hal scans this. They realize they only have one enemy. Again, enemies are triangles. And then that gives Verhulst the confidence to take roof and see who's up here and if there's anybody to their right. And they can identify so many more threats, and they can make way more decisions, and they can give their IGL better information, higher quality information. However, instead, what do? They do A1 and B1 together. They just 3-stack it. They all just follow this exact same train track, which is not good. Let's just keep going.
He's down here. Walk as well. Finish that kid.
Pausing. Do you see this? 3-stacking. Look, they're all peeking the same angle. Boom, boom, boom. Why? Yes, we have to kill that person quickly. Why isn't somebody taking this angle on the right? Why isn't somebody going on the left? That is an issue. So, again, you are not your character. Let me write this again. You are not your character. You are all 3 characters. 1, 2, 3. If this was an RTS, a real-time strategy game, you would have somebody here, you would have somebody here, and you would have somebody here. And then you can view, hey, look at this. He has his shield up, and then he has his knockdown shield up here. But guess what? This is a vulnerable area that you can shoot. And look, if you're over here on the left, if Verhulst is here on the left side, he can see and identify threats on the left side. And then if Reps is over here on the right side, he can see and identify threats behind them. Spread out more, play a little bit more relaxed, stop 3-stacking the same fucking angles. I say fucking because I'm like a little mad because I love TSM. I've been cheering for them since season forever, you know? So let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, I'm down to answer any questions. It doesn't have to be Apex related. I just like hanging out. Let's just keep going.
The purple knock. He has a purple knock.
Just finish him, man.
I'm walking up.
He's breaking it.
Like they're all shooting the same angle. This guy with the purple knock is literally 1v3ing TSM. This guy's the GOAT. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, right? I should pay attention probably in the kill feed. But this guy is 1v3ing TSM with no guns. And he's with a knockdown shield. Can you imagine what it's like to be 1v3'd by a knockdown shield? It's got to be the most embarrassing thing in the world. How do you avoid this? Take new angles. Holy shit. This is crazy. Hello, everybody, to the stream. Feel free to go backward in the stream. I'm keeping these streams public and I stream on YouTube because I want people to be able to look at the VODs whenever they want to in their own time. On Twitch, I think you have to be a certain viewership count or something to allow people to look at VODs forever. I think they only hold VODs for a certain length of time. Okay, so remember we talked about chain of actions, like chaining your actions together, right? Everyone's just doing exactly what Hal is doing, and they're all just like, let's imagine your chain of actions is a train track, right? And you're the train, you're just going here. Like, again, you need to have 3 train tracks. Yeah. So Hal should have taken ownership of his entire team and just had one person. Hey, finish this guy. That's it. Verhulst, Evan, finish this guy. Cool. Does it need all 3 of us? Hell no. Why is everybody shooting this person? It makes no sense. The ring is closing in. Just have one person kill that person. Take Reps and yourself and go to the beacon. Chain your actions together. Divide and conquer. Right? Separate your responsibilities. Assign responsibilities. Tell people what to do. So this is just a little weird to me. Again, I feel like in some ways, like TSM has gone backwards. They're more cohesive than ever. Like they're like glued together, if that makes any sense. Again, please let me know if I'm wrong or complete bullshit. So like this scan right here, like no one's doing anything. Like everybody should be doing something. They're all just like waiting for Hal to scan, right? Like Jordan should be over here after he smoked or while he was smoking, identifying threats and cross angles. Verhulst should be over here, looking up here just in case while somebody's scanning, maybe somebody is zone wrapping and could shoot them from behind, you know? And then or scope in from here to their south. Yeah, they're they're just following one train track. They need to have another train track and then another train track. Yeah. Okay, that's Just my belief. That's just my approach to the game. Let's keep going. If anything I'm saying confuses you and I keep bringing up, oh, by the way, Cinetic is an amazing IGL. Everybody should follow Cinetic. Seriously, I'm not like I don't know him personally. I've played with him in 3v3s and against him. I think he is an incredible, incredible IGL. And I wish more people knew about him. Same with Calamitous. Spelled like this. Both of those guys are in the EU and they're next up. They're going to wipe the floor with EU in the future. As long as they get the proper team and time together. Cinetic came from CC right away, and then he got to LAN. I want you to think about that. He came from CC to LAN. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. Look at this. They have a juicer here. If Evan, let's say Evan is yellow, right? Let's give Evan yellow, Reps blue, and Hal red, because he's an angry little boy. I don't think he's an angry little boy. He's a full grown ass man. I apologize for saying that. So if we do train tracks, right? If we do chains of decision making, that could have gone from here to here to here, right? And then Verhulst could have gone from here. Actually, I probably would have preferred maybe Verhulst here to here. And then, actually, I would have preferred Verhulst on this side because his movement is vertical Verhulst. And then you have Reps getting the juicer. Why do you want Reps getting on the juicer? Because he is Bangalore. He has double time and smokes. And then like all of this should have been happening at the same time. They could have saved so much time. Reps getting the juicer, smoking Hal, looking at this cross angle, Verhulst like bodyguarding Hal, maybe body blocking if he needs to, identifying threats coming in from this choke and from up the hill. Do you see what's happening right now? It's like all three things, like you're literally 3 times more powerful than you were before. But instead, they all just follow this exact same path. Everybody just 3 stacks the same line of decision making, which is unhealthy. It is slow, not dynamic, and it doesn't, and it just gets way less done. Let's keep going. I feel like I'm just beating the horse on the head. Okay. I don't.
One to the left.
Okay.
Come on.
I wish they could open up maps in
Come left.
command view or whatever it's called now on Faceit.
I shot one smoke at them.
I think we go left.
I have a smoke right
We
now.
can go choke. We can go
Okay.
choke.
Okay.
Oh, I think we go choke. Okay. Why?
I have one smoke.
It's one smoke.
Can I heal? I need
Yes,
pump
heal
smoke.
here. When you have smoke.
I have a smoke.
Okay. Do you see what's happening? 10 seconds had just passed. Maybe 15 seconds have passed since they scanned. They should have had somebody down here already. Remember we were talking about yellow, which is Verhulst, right? Verhulst should have gone down here already. Not good. And maybe there's a team on height. I think there is a team on height up here, right? So what do? Okay, so we can't get that juicer. We have a different line of opportunity. So we have Reps, tall man Reps, chain, and chain. Oopsies. We'll do yellow. Go down here, and then Reps down here, and then like poke these guys, right? All right, let's keep going.
Smoke right now.
Okay,
Smoke
smoke
across. You
here.
ready?
Yep.
Going.
And like, here's the thing: if Verhulst was down here already, like to see what's clear and see what's available, like regardless of their scan, right? If he had been down here already, like he would have fed that information to Hal, and then Hal wouldn't be pussyfooting for 10 to 50 seconds. He wouldn't, you can hear it in his wording. He wouldn't say, I think we go to choke. He would just say, go to choke. He wouldn't say, I think we go to choke. He'd just say, let's go to choke.
Look left.
Like,
Focus left,
his
focus left.
wording is evident of the fact that, yeah, this is crazy. Also, smoke usage, fine. Preparing for the fight is fine. The fact that this team wasn't like controlling height there is a little weird. Whoever they're fighting is throwing. Alliance? Are you joking? Alliance? What? Man, Alliance doesn't know how. Okay, so remember we said this. If something happens on a macro, oopsies, let's use something easier to read. If something happens on a macro level and it happens on a micro level, that is a pattern of behavior you need to address. This doesn't apply to TSM right now. What we're talking about is Alliance. Alliance does not know how to hold a POI. So macro is a POI. They don't know how to hold a POI. They were gifted trials 3 times in a row, and they didn't know how to hold it. That's something they need to address. How can they address it if they don't do a lot of scrims? I don't know if they do a lot of scrims, but I think they do. But how do you address it outside of scrims? You address it on a micro level. That means if they don't know how to hold it on how to hold a macro level, they probably don't know how to hold a spot on a micro level, right? Like Alliance does really, really well when they're moving. If you notice, they do really well off of momentum and chaining decisions. So instead of a POI, a spot, right? A spot is just a smaller version of a POI. So this is a pattern of behavior that Alliance needs to address right away. And this is a common issue. Watch this. Alliance is over here. No one's on height. No one's on height here. No one was holding over here. No one's like Alliance. I don't think identifies threats. Not good. When we go over Alliance's POV on this later, I think it'll explain some things. This is really bad. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like a mid-off. I know, like this is like 2 of the best teams in the entire world fighting against each other, but like the positioning on this feels like a mid-off. It feels like 2 plat players, just like plat teams fighting against each other. Yeah. Hey, look at his. Look at that white circle edge choke. White circle. White circle. Edge. Choke. Remember, if you hold a power position on a white circle, edge, choke, you can actually do pretty well. You can farm kills, but you actually have to hold it. Imagine if Alliance was on the rocks or spread out, getting angles and identifying the threats of people coming in from white circle edge choke. So that is the third option. First option is that you don't have power position, PP. Sorry, I'm a child. So second option is you do have PP, and you slap people with your PP, which is your power position. And then 3, you do have PP, but you don't use it. Right? So imagine if these rocks were a building. They're not sitting on top of the rocks. They're not using the angles that the rocks provides. That's crazy. And they're not thinking about people coming in from the opposite sides. Let me know once again if you have any questions about Apex or anything outside of Apex. I am happy to answer. I mean, like, this whole lobby is just like a plat lobby. I mean, look how many squads are left. Why is this? It's because edge playstyle, quote unquote edge playstyle, which I fucking hate using, but I can't think of a better phrase to use, is more rewarding now than ever. At least that's what it feels like, right? Because you have Evo caches and you have evac towers. Yeah. So you can get blue shields by delaying your rotations. However, if everyone's delaying your rotations and you're not identifying the possible threats of your rotation, let's say you're going from on the map, let's say you're going from A to B to C, right? And you're doing these rotations. When you're going from A to B, you need to think about enemies coming at you from various angles. When you're going from B to C, you need to think about enemies. Let's say, like, this is a mountain over here. You need to think about enemies coming in from this angle, right? And it seems like Alliance is not doing a good job of identifying threats when they're standing and still. You know what? I think they're like dinosaurs. You know how in Jurassic Park, like they trick the T Rex by not moving? Maybe Alliance are like the T Rex. They're incredibly powerful, but can only identify things that are moving. In aim training, right now, in the range, aim smoothing training, cool. Um, oh yeah, this is actually a really cool thing. So we're gonna get into some deep in the weeds stuff, maybe some secret sauce stuff. We're gonna talk about Godspot, and we're not gonna talk about this game right now. Well, sort of. So most people would think, because there's rocks over here, that this is Godspot, right? Let's say we're gonna do it with a big G. A lot of people would try to get Godspot in Ring 4, but we're gonna talk about Dark Zero. Dark Zero. And this is the thing that I was hinting at in on Twitter when I said Dark Zero's or Zero's main weakness. And I don't think it's a weakness. Calamitous actually pointed out. He said it's not really a weakness, it's a double-edged sword, and one side is just more blunt than the other. And I think he's right. He's a super smart guy, much smarter than I am. And anyways, so most people, especially quote unquote zone teams, go to Godspot as early as possible. Sometimes they get there in like rings 1 through 3. They get G for Godspot, right? Let's say, I don't know, oversleepers, because they're a zone team, or at least they were. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but they get this Godspot and they stay there the whole entire game, right? Dark Zero, they avoid Godspot like the plague. Not entirely, you know. And they don't avoid Godspot all of the time, but they hate holding Godspot. Godspot. So what did they do instead? So let's say this is Godspot. Instead, what they do is if there's Godspot, right, which is your A position, there has to be a B position, which is not Godspot, right? So you look for subpar positions that are still power positions that have cover. So here is a B position. So we'll have our A position here. You get your B position, maybe B position, maybe B position here, right? I would venture that this is probably the best one, depending on legend type, right? The thing is, though, most people think that just holding this will get you. And most teams only play for Godspot, right? They're like, if we hold this, we win the game. Sometimes that happens. SSG, when they have this spot, they win the game. And I'm talking about the current iteration of that SSG with Phony as their IGL. Because Phony's really good at holding God spots and identifying God spots. However, Dark Zero, and I would say Zero in particular, like the IGL himself, avoids Godspot like the plague, at least holding it. So what do they do instead? And why do they do it? We'll go over it. It's because when the ring pulls, let's say the ring pulls towards Godspot, right? What happens? All these other teams, let's say this was a better lobby, even with this many teams, all these other teams are going to focus the fuck out of Godspot, right? So let's recreate this ring on a map, right? Let's say it pulls towards Godspot. Let's say this is DZ, and then there's like other teams. There's somebody holding Godspot. All these guys are just gonna beam the shit out of Godspot. What does DZ do? They stay over here in their power position and they poke at people. Isn't that genius? It's so simple. Uh, a disguised toast does this, but they only do it if they can get to that spot. They have a difficult time with rings 2 and 3. Ring 1, sort of okay. But ring 2 and 3, they have a pretty difficult time with, to be honest with you. It's just the meta and like the new edge shifts, the new Evo caches, they're just not used to it yet. I think once they get their timing down a little bit better, they'll be unstoppable, especially for next land. So this is what DZ does. And then by the time the ring closes, what does DZ do? Let's do the erase marker. Erase. Let's say this is Godspot again. Oopsies. Right? Ring is gone. Oopsies. Fuck me, dude. So what does DZ do? Ring closes in. There's other teams. They're fighting. This team dies. DZ closes in. They smoke up. They ult maybe one side, or they save their ult, or they smoke themselves, so that way they're hiding in their smoke. These two teams fight. They get a knock on each other. Then DZ cleans up. DZ goes here. And then that's how they win games very, very consistently. In fact, you can see it in today's game, the one that Zero threw. They actually had Godspot. Actually, I'll show you exactly what happened in the final game, or what could have been the final game. They were out in open space. Here are the rocks. Oopsies. Here's the big rock, and the tunnel, the zip tunnel, right, where Legends Gaming was. Right, Legends Gaming. And then this is DZ. And then there's the rocks, and there's like TSM over here, right? They know that they had Godspot. This is like, they knew they had Godspot. But they knew that if they held it, everyone's attention would be completely on them. Which is actually what happened. They just rotated a Godspot too early. So what did they do? They left Godspot to get their eyes off, to get their heat off of them. One, play smaller to get their eyes off of them, and then two, to pick off kills, to have more isolated fights, and then clear their backs, clear sides. So what did they do? They went to these rocks over here. They killed whoever was over here. Was that Moist? I can't remember. And then so that way they know that when the ring is closing, this entire side is clear. And then they went back here to Godspot. Unfortunately, they went here way too early. They could have played on the outer edge a little bit more, I think. And also Zero through. And honestly, I don't think they played there too early. It's just Zero through. to be honest with you, which is unfortunate. It actually makes me a little happy to know that he threw. It shows to me that he's human and he's not like this, fucking deity of macro and decision making. But yeah, and then LG, I suspect my belief is that I'll ask Strafing Flame and Nihil tomorrow. I suspect that Strafing Flame knew in his heart of hearts, in his gut, that this was DZ and that they had to fuck them. I think I believe it strongly, that he believed it strongly, that this was DZ and that if they did not do anything, the entire game was over. So I'm pretty sure LG is the reason, sorry, Legends Gaming is the reason that Zero, got fucked because he probably never expected Legends Gaming to ape them like that. I'm not good with these technical, just aim and no brain. Yeah, that's okay. Just do whatever you like to do, man. Oopsies. Keep going. Hey, there's a lot of stuff that we've gone over that you might find valuable um, earlier. So if you want to, you can go earlier in the VOD and talk about chains of decision. We talk about timing. We talk about earliest mistakes. Talk about roles. We talk about decision timing. Okay, so they are on choke. Right circle edge choke. Hal is thinking about threats. Here's a threat. Here's another threat. Threat. Possible threat. Let's listen to these comms.
Cross over now. You have to
Crossing
cross
now,
over
crossing,
now.
crossing.
Okay.
You have to hold. Try to hold that side. But
Yep.
Do you hear that? Hal, he said try to hold that side, right? But you know, that's good, right? I give that a B plus, calm. You know what would have been an A plus? Is if Verhall said, I'm gonna hold this side. So Hal says it. Hal commands him. Do you know what would have been even better? If Verhall says, I'm gonna take this. And then Hal says no. If Hal disagrees, all Hal has to do is say no. You're a fucking idiot or something. I don't know. Or the thing is that one, it saves time, and two, it shows that Verhulst is thinking about the game outside of his own character. Once again, we're going to say this over and over again. You are not your character. You are all three characters. Uh, Everybody has to think that way, not just the IGL. Everybody. Okay, let's keep going.
we have to hold both sides right now. We have to hold both sides.
They've red over here. There's only one team on the side, bro.
Nobody's shooting us from the back.
They're fighting in the docks. I think. They're fighting
Can we go
docks.
docks? Can we go docks? Side at the bat.
Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me open up Discord. Discord. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys my Discord in chat. YouTube. My channel. How do I do chat? There we go. Paste. Man, I'm such an old man. I suck at streaming. Okay, that's my Discord. I'm going to hop into the VOD review channel right here. If you guys want to hop in, and if you have questions, feel free to ask me. All right, let's just keep going.
Docks, we go docks, I think. Yeah.
I kill in the water.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
It'll be easier than me trying to monitor chat.
No smokes. I have one smoke right
This
now.
lobby is just kind of like a joke.
Somebody
Ooh,
else.
pause. Look at this. No nades. And he walked past a death box for no nades. I get that he's looking for kills here. Also, look at this again. How do you zoom in on this? Shit, hold on, let me grab screenshot. Paint. Oopsies. Wait. Yeah, do this. Oopsies. Nope, I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're gonna take this. Okay, what is the problem with this? Here's the problem. Remember we talked about chains of decision making? Here's Hal, right? Here's Hal making his decisions. Here is, sorry, let's make this a little bit more clear. Here is Hal making his decisions, which look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's shooting these people here on 4. Verhulst is doing 1, 2, 3. Reps is doing 1, 2, 3. The problem with this is if everybody's following the same line, you're going to be a whole step behind. No one's like getting information. They're all facing the same direction. They're all like, it's okay to do this sometimes, but if this happens so much to the point that like you can point it out in the same game multiple times, that's an issue, right? Like Hal's shooting a guy who's over here, and no one's talking about if anybody's on the middle finger. What if Reps, who is their most dynamic character, goes over to the middle finger and starts shooting the enemy? Let's say the enemy is a triangle, right? What if he starts shooting the enemy from here, from the middle finger, where it's safe? Maybe he can smoke this end. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. Like, of course, like this is a lot of hindsight and stuff. But the thing I'm trying to highlight is that they're all making the same choices. You know, it's like you went back in time to when you're like 4 years old, to 6 years old, to 10 years old, and instead of doing anything different, you're just making the same choices. So if Hal makes a mistake, by the time Reps becomes 10 years old, he's going to make the same mistake, but just delayed. This is not good. Again, let's say this is Godspot. This person here, they're probably going to lose. They're probably going to get second place. The person here and here most likely will win the game. Why? Because DZ has proven this time and time again. We went over this a little bit ago, but DZ avoids Godspot. G for Godspot. Instead, they like to hold this area where it's probably going to pull. So here's the deal. If Hal had tried to like control this area a little bit more instead of clearing this, that would have been fine. I think they could have won the game. But instead, he's again, when you're in rings 4 through 6, sometimes 3 through 6 if you're at LAN, right? Depending on how tight your lobby is, you either prioritize kills or position. Sometimes and position. This is literally like the simplest flowchart ever. Right now he's prioritizing kills, which I think was a mistake, to be honest with you, because you can get positions and kills. You can get a position here, and then just kill people and win the game. You get 10 points for, I think, is it 10 points for first place? Or is it 15 or 20? I think it's 20 points for first place. That's crazy. Yeah, they could have won. All right, let's keep going. Do you see this? Hal is doing the most damage on his team. This is actually why Hal does the most damage on his team. Hal, Daddy, Valve, Daddy, Ruko, Daddy. This is actually why Hal does the most damage on his team. It's because Reps and Verhulst, they don't fan out and like try to make their own decisions. So by the time Hal is done shooting people in front of him, they're gone. They're off to Narnia. And then Verhulst and Reps are like too late to join the party and do damage on their own. Look at this. This is exactly what happens.
Okay.
Look, he scanned somebody on the right. They should have known that somebody was on the right already. Like, no one's looking right. Look at all their arrows. Now they're looking right.
I'm bangling this. Nade that. On the heady on the left, on the heady on the left. I
He's swinging me! He's swinging me! Coming up, I'm down. I couldn't get to you. Get to the west side.
Yeah, look at this. They're all copying Hal. Oh no. No. It's because they follow the same path of decision making. See, look, this is exactly what we predicted would happen. They're all just following Hal, and then they're acting on his information, right? But by the time they act on his information, they're a whole 2 seconds behind. That means the enemy is able to act 2 seconds ahead of both Reps and Verhulst. So basically, Hal is leading them into getting baited, right? But if like their earliest mistake here is not having a conversation outside of the game and saying, "Hey, listen, when I go through here in this finger, I need one of you to look and maybe like just try to take up more space." You know, you know what? I remember we talked about this macro and micro. Oopsies. If you have a problem on a micro level, see if you have that issue on a macro level, right? So let's think about this. And let's just think about this logically, right? Their issue is happening on a micro level, which is how they move across the map, which delays their information and restricts their information. Why is this happening when this was not an issue for them a year ago or even half a year ago? I think it's because they're playing a delayed edge playstyle. They're delaying their rotations and they're literally rewiring their thinking to think about that edge playstyle. However, when they were playing zone, so ignore what you see on the screen right now. Let's say on the map, let's say they had Godspot here in the center zone or whatever. Like when they were playing these areas, they were much better at like spreading out and getting information. I think they forgot that. That's why TSM's not been performing well. They're forgetting like what made them good in the first place. They learned new skills, but they forgot their old skills. I'm just thinking out loud. I could be wrong here, but I suspect that's the issue. Let's say, like in an RPG, let's say like in martial arts, right? Let's say you got from white belt to purple belt using just your kicks, and you're like the greatest kicker in the world, right? But then you from purple belt to black belt, you get really good at punches because you realize punches were your weakness. But when you go from black belt onward, like black belt plus or stripes or whatever, um, you forgot how to do kicks, so you only know how to do punches, right? So technically, you can take your black belt and you subtract it. You're technically back at purple belt, or maybe even worse. Maybe you're back at blue belt because you don't have your kicks anymore. This is a bad metaphor. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep going. Nobody taking off angles from fingers or anything, just triple swinging same angle. Yeah, Winkler, that's pretty much a better way to say it. I tend to again, remember I was saying earlier you want to say things simply. Like I talk out loud a lot so I can figure out how to say things in a simpler manner. But yeah, that's a much better way of saying it, man. Great job. I'm gonna say that more. Basically spread out and take more off angles. How? He's confused, right? Hal is confused, and that tells me he just doesn't know what's actually happening. And this makes me sad, dude. Like I'm like genuinely sad. I really love TSM. Fuck, man. Fuck. This makes me sad. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. That's their issue. Let's see if any of these issues. I'm gonna do the rest of these games, and then I'm probably gonna call it a night. Do they do contests here? No contests. Okay, thank God. Okay, I want to see how they get this Evo cache. Hold on. Let's remember we're talking about chains of
I
decision.
gotta get off this rampage.
Okay.
So they're spreading out a little bit. They're looking in different directions.
I'm gonna go for this Evo, okay?
Going to hell.
Okay, you hear that? So Reps says he's going to go for this Evo. Oops, that's not Reps. Reps says he's going to go for this Evo, okay? So he's taking ownership. And then if Hal disagrees, all Hal has to do is say no. That's it. So Reps is vocalizing what he's doing. He's not asking for permission. He's just saying that's what I'm doing, right? He's communicating that to his IGL, and he's taking ownership of something. But if instead Reps, sorry, not Reps, Jesus Christ, Hal just says okay. Yeah, good. This is great. See how he's like making his own path? This is what we want in your teammates. Verhulst is kind of like being the little brother of the situation, to be honest with you. He's like not really doing anything. Maybe he should like go up there with him and like try to trap that building or something on just in case he scans a team that's ratting, right? Verhulst could say, I'm gonna go with you. Like what can Verhulst say in this moment? He could say, I'm gonna go with Hal in case he gets ratted on. That's it. He can vocalize that. It's okay to occupy the same like chain of decisions and follow the same path as that person as long as there's purpose and intent, right? It's perfectly fine to like walk side by side with somebody and hold hands with somebody, but as long as there's intent behind it, instead of just like, this is why when you're solo queuing in rank and you're doing a really good job IGLing, but then your team just dies, like there's a reason for that. It's because your teammates are just like following everything you're doing. And I guarantee you, this is actually a tip for solo queue rank. If you solo queue and you're really good at IGLing, the things where your teammates keep dying, it's because they're following the exact same chain of decisions. So what do you do? How can you get better as a player? Since you can't control what they're doing. What you can do is you tell them what to do. And if they don't do it, that's their fault, right? If you're here, if you're the red, you say, hey, Caustic, come with me. Bangalore, go left, get the Evo cache. And then they go left. And you communicate that. That's how you command. Again, you are not your character. You are all three characters. Everybody is. Let's keep going. This is good.
Let's get someone on the train station.
Oh.
Get that Eva, I'm going map room.
So Hal is the only one providing information right now. He said, I scanned someone on the train station. Nobody confirmed that they heard that. One thing Tier 2 does very well, Tier 2 comp, is they all say heard. Heard. It's a confirmation that you heard your teammate. That's it. Heard. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I wish more pros did that. Like, Hal is providing to his teammates information that his teammates should be providing to him. And I'm not saying scan information, I'm just saying like awareness, map knowledge. Like Verhulst should look to their northeast and say, northeast looks clear, or look up the hill, south looks clear, and then Reps is over here getting the cache, no one's on the bridge, or somebody, I think I see somebody in Monument. Do you see like the difference here? Like these communication methods?
They puddle here.
If you're not an IGL, these are the things that you could do for your teammate and how you could be a more valuable player. Do you know what would have been great? Is if Verhulst said, I'm going to come with you. Because they did scan the building and they did scan that caustic trap. That should not have been a surprise. everyone's kind of brain dead right now. And I'm not saying brain dead as in stupid. It's just that people aren't thinking about these things. And I'm not calling them stupid for not thinking about these things. It's just that sometimes we just don't know what to think about, you know? I think that's one of the hardest things about VOD reviewing is that like people are like, VOD review more. I tell everyone to VOD review more, but you don't know what to look for. These are one of the things that you can look for. You can look for chains of decisions, spreading out more, and gathering information for your IGL. Guess what? Bangalore did not need to be, like reps did not need to be on top of this building to smoke. Yeah. Look at this. Again, everyone's on top of the building. Everyone's getting the same information, which is fine as long as there's intent behind it. But it seems like they're only doing this. Like, again, they're just like attached at the hip. Maybe they could body block.
The northeast zone.
All right, we're going to skip ahead. I'm bored.
Wait, can you, if you have a scope, can you look into truck? The truck spot?
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I have a 3x. There's someone there.
Okay, well, fuck.
Enemy spotted. Far.
Can't tell if
What
anyone's
about
up
height?
here.
What about height?
I don't see any. Oh, that height?
Well,
There's
there's
a
a watch
watch
fence
fence.
spot. I'm walking up. I'm gonna walk up. They might have moved from there.
I'm gonna stay here for now, I think.
You should come, I think.
Okay.
I'm coming with you.
Ooh, you hear that exchange? Verhul says, "I'm gonna stay here from now." I think. Let's replay that. I like that exchange a lot. Good
They could be
communication.
like,
Okay. Can we go to the truck spots? Come north. Come north. Wait. Can you? If you have a scope, can you look into truck? The truck spot?
yeah, I'm trying to look. I have a 3x. There's someone there.
Okay. Well, fuck.
Enemy spotted. Far.
Can't tell if
What
anyone's
about
up
height?
here.
What about height?
I don't see any. Oh, that height?
Well, there's a
a
watch.
Okay, see all this information that Hal is asking for? They should have already been supplied to him already by Verhulst and reps. Instead, they're just, again, attached at the hip. This might be a land nerves thing, but they need to build the habit of, like, spreading out and getting more information for him. Like, this information should have already been supplied to him, or at least been ready to supply that information to him. The fact that he has to ask for that information is slowing them down so much. It's crazy.
Watch fence spot. I'm walking up. I'm gonna walk up. They might have moved from there.
I'm gonna stay here for now, I think.
You should come, I think.
Okay.
I'm coming with you.
And they could be like,
Okay, so that's good. So Verhal says, I'm going to stay here. So he's making a choice in his own little decision tree. But then Hal says, no. Remember we talked about that? Where Verhal says, I'm going to do this. And then Hal says, no. That's a perfectly healthy exchange. Right? Good exchange. And then Verhal goes with him. This is good.
I could have jumped up and held the trucks.
Once again, little snake. Oh no. Oh no, bro. Not good. That's fine. Again, you can make a snake. It's perfectly fine. But if you just see it way too much, man, just like it. Okay. So Hal stated his intent to take height, right? You know what could have happened is, let's say Hal is red, Verhulst is yellow, Reps is blue. How can we approach this differently? Hal goes his normal way. Verhulst, since he's a little delayed, how can he be more valuable? Verhulst goes to the right, and he has a 3x scope. We've already established that he has the longest scope out of the team. What does he do? He peeks on the corner of this building on the right side, and he looks upward. And then Reps, what does he do? He follows, or he goes on the left side of the building, and he identifies threats possibly on the left side. Okay? And then maybe Verhulst, because they knew that there was somebody over here, maybe that team double backed. Do you see how much information they're getting now? It's 3 times more information. Reps is looking left. Verhulst is looking right and up. And then Hal is thinking about their next step. This allows, this allows Hal to think about how they can approach the fight, and then they can supply him with more information. I don't remember what happens here because there's so many games that have happened over the past couple of days. But let's say that if they fight this and there's a team on height, right? Let's say this bad guys on height. Let's make them black, right? Let's make them red. Let's say there's bad guys on height. They're a triangle, and then they fight this. But Reps sees a team on the left side. What does that do? It informs Hal that there's a team on the left side. So you smoke that off, or you ult the team on the left, and then you isolate yourself for the fight. Yeah, it's just a snake, again, of a decision tree, and we need to keep going. I think this is going to be my last game. I'm going to VOD review, and then I'm going to call it, because this is a lot. It's just the same decision over it. They back off.
Yeah, but we need to somehow get the fuck out of here. We're gonna be stuck on blues.
I need
Yep,
to
he's right.
I'm coming back to Evan.
One
We
solid
got the
there.
I think
I'm
that's
kicking the door down.
Zero's team. We're just gonna skip ahead here. Oh, this is the Zero team where here and here ends here. Yeah, I remember this. Was this the one where Liquid was here the whole time? Was that today? I can't even remember. Was that yesterday?
They're
Bro,
trading over
my
there, but
brain
grab
is
the e-bike.
dead.
Alright, my dog.
They're
Yeah,
smoked. I
pulls
don't know how
away.
they're fucking hitting us.
Okay, so they got here too early. They landed on Godspot. Remember what I said about Godspot? You don't want to go there too early. You want to work your way in from the outside. Yeah. They could have walked in.
I have Ultic Cell as well.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna evac in the back, pop all of our shit, smoke the cart, and fucking take it, okay? And we're gonna land probably in the middle of the zone.
Sometimes you just walk in with blue. I think their earliest mistake here was getting to Fragment too early. Because they should have looked at the map earlier and said, hey, Fragment only has one has one Evo cache. Has one cache. That's only gonna get us halfway to blue. What the fuck do we do to get our shields? Oh, let's take top of epicenter. If we're on top of epicenter and we have sights, we can poke at people, right? Or we can take up here and then poke at people. We get height and power position to poke at people to get our shields up. Or we look at the Evo caches across the map, Yeah. Actually, this is the advantage that Wraith has over Bangalore. Or even Bloodhound. Why? Why do you like Wraith? Because she's a skirmisher, and skirmishers have a passive of being able to look at what's it called? Loot drops. The drops that come in. Fuck, I can't even think right now. Yeah. The drops that come in from the sky. Every time you look at them, I think that's 50 or 100, or is it 75? I forget. 75 points towards your Evo shields. And by the time ring 2 or 3 pops around, you get purple, So that's actually another advantage that Wraith has over these other characters, because she's a skirmisher class. So, if if they're playing, this is weird because so far they've been playing super delayed edge, and now they're playing really, really early zone, but they just don't know what to do here at this point.
Team here just
Flying in the
evac in the
fragment.
monument.
Because they don't have the confidence to do anything because their shields are only blue. But the thing is, though, that's weird. Because TSM has won off of blues before. They've never really been worried about shield difference. Shield difference. Holy shit, I can't speak. Yeah, let's take a look at
I don't know how
this.
they're fucking hitting us.
1 HP.
They're laying in our spot.
We go over here somewhere?
Go into low ground, low
Build
ground, low
up the
ground.
I told you guys.
Safe on me, safe on me, safe on me.
The team here, there's a team coming up. There's a
Save
team
on me.
coming up.
Yeah. Shit. I should have done this like a minute ago, maybe 2 minutes ago. Like Hal wasn't thinking about end zone at all. Like, or even the possibility of the ring pulling away. Yeah. Okay, I think that's gonna be my last game that I'm gonna VOD review. Actually, we'll just go to game 5 and 6 just to skip through to see if we're seeing the exact same issues again. So edge, perfectly fine. Low ground, not the best position. See how it pulls off. Rolls dives? Why?
Get you on the back. Smoke,
Smoking,
smoke,
smoking,
smoke,
smoking.
You gotta heal somewhere.
You gotta, they're up on height. You gotta fucking get in.
Okay, so again, they're just making a snake. They're snaking. That's it. Just making the same snake decision. So Hal is the one leading the charge on these, right? But he's not telling them to smoke on height or anything like that. Maybe he is. I don't know. Kind of just rushing through these VOD reviews. But the one who like has to deal with the fallout of Hal's decision making are his teammates. He's literally like he's the one knocking over the domino, and the dominoes fall on Reps and Verhulst. And I'm not saying that's his fault. I'm saying this is actually everybody's fault. You know, you can actually LOS down here in different ways. You know, not great. I think the rotation here was just not great. Probably in ring. That's a ring 3 mistake. I bet you their
Very similar zone,
decision,
yeah.
their mistake was in ring 1. They got here early. Is anybody getting that
We can
cachet?
easily get that spot, I think.
Nobody's getting that cachet. Nobody's getting that cachet. Nobody is getting the Evo cachet, and they're trying to get a spot when they don't have prio. They have double evac, but they don't have prio. There's another. They take low ground.
I have one smoke right now. Okay?
Okay.
And I gotta heal.
I'm walking up to take the spot.
Yeah, that's good.
Someone just got there, someone just got there, someone just got there.
Okay. Yeah, backing up.
We gotta go low ground. Just heal up.
No, that was a bad decision. I don't think it's a bad decision, but it's just like they just keep playing. They purposely choose low ground the entire game, which I think is actually fine. It buys you placement, but it doesn't buy you opportunities for kills, right?
Hold on, Moby.
Come on,
It
they're
kind of
hitting
leaves
the
you
map
at
where we
your
should go.
wins. They should have gone south.
They smoked themselves. You wanna
Can we
make
go
it?
down? Yeah, yeah. Smoke maybe?
Yeah, okay. It's the
No,
same
we're gonna stay
decision
there, yeah.
making. Same issue. They had zone. Caught on edge a little bit. Ring pulls away
there
from
any-
them. Okay, quick little thing. Again, when the ring pulls away from you, you need to think about position or kills, or both. When the ring pulls away from you. So, if the ring pulls away from you, and you can't get good positions, right? And you're not willing to blind evac or blind valcals, or if you don't have an evac, right? Go for kills. Let's see what TSM does here.
World we just like run across, like we could drop down.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
we
they
have to
got
run across.
really unlucky with like a lot of ring pulls in this block. Skip ahead. Yep. Okay. Remember we talked about macro and micro? If you have an issue that's happening on a macro level, look to see if it happens on a micro level. And if it happens on a micro level, see if it happens on a macro level. And then you have a pattern of behavior that you need to address. And by the way, this isn't just for bad behaviors. This could also be good patterns, you know? You might notice that you're doing something really well. This actually applies to everything in life. You know, if you make your bed every day and you put on your socks and you brush your teeth every day and you do all these small little things that you take care of yourself throughout the day, most likely on a macro level, your life is much more organized, you know? If you don't do those small things every single day, then there's a good chance that your life is in disarray and that you have a bad sleep schedule, which affects everything else, which then affects your micro. So if you look at this fight, everyone's facing the same direction and they're all looking at this hole. This isn't a room. This might as well just be a hallway. Why isn't anybody going to the right over here? You know, why isn't anyone getting cross angles? I think actually this has a lot to do. I don't think TSM is doing TDMs enough, or the way they're approaching TDMs is inefficient compared to what they could. Look at this. Everyone's three stacking the same door. Holy shit. That's so bad, dude. That's not good. This is not the TSM I know. Everyone's three stacking the same door. No one is getting alternate angles. I'm not saying flank. I'm not saying don't flank. Like no one's getting alternate angles from this side to shoot at these guys. This is crazy. If they have bang smokes, they could literally, okay, listen, if Reps went to the right here, right, and he bang smokes one side, and then they can just isolate whoever's over here and play off the next scan. Or he smokes outside, bang ults, and then he smokes outside. This allows Hal to use his ult and then completely fuck them with the free digi from his ult. Yeah. Holy shit. Like what? Bro, something's going on. And like I don't know, man. Oh, bro, it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm getting too emotional. It's like one of my favorite teams of all time. I've been cheering them for years. And it's just like they're in disarray. Just get new angles. What did Winkler say? Just get new off angles. That's it. Yeah, they die here. Like they're shooting like oh they keep living, I think. Do they kill these guys?
Oh, you have on the left. He backed up.
Can't see shit.
I used Costco
This
for that.
fight is
I
just
bangled on them,
delayed.
too.
I think we need to evac here, boys, now.
Okay.
Okay, remember the 60-second mark? 60 to 40? They're making this decision about 30 seconds too late.
They
They're
gonna run in. They're gonna run in right now.
Come. We can't do that. We can't do that. We gotta jump low ground. Come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come to me.
So remember, again, around the 1 minute mark to 40-second mark, you need to start thinking about your next decision. We're gonna go back here.
They're getting shot.
We're gonna listen to these comms.
Is there any world we just
Pay
like run
attention.
across? Like we could drop down
Yeah, I think we have to run across
and
and
go to the like
bro.
bins?
Well, there's a team that's gonna shoot us from underneath the tracks.
So Reps is thinking about that. That's good. However, actually, I learned this 60-second to 40-second thing from watching Reps. Reps needs to say, take more ownership again, like he used to. Remember when Hal was singing Apples and Bananas? From that moment on, Reps was saying, what's our next step? You're IGL. He got so pissed off with Hal. He lost it. He said, what's our next step? What do we do next? Find us a position. That's your job. I actually learned this from Reps. And Reps needs to do that more. And so does Verhulst. Like they need to force their IGL to do something more. And of course, they have their own issues too. They're not supplying more dynamic information. But yeah.
Like they're just gonna fucking focus the fuck out of it. They're walking up.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you fighting this? Like, yes, you have to kind of clear it, that kind of a thing. But are you committed to kills? Or are you committed to position? And they're just holding them off. They're not trying to kill these guys. They're just holding them off. So if that's the case, bang ult them, like drop evacs behind you and get the fuck out of there. Right now, Reps needs to say, we need to, what's our next plan? What's our next step?
They're
Listen
getting
to these
shot.
comms.
Red armor.
Everyone's completely focused on this fight. No one's thinking about their next step. No one's thinking about ring 4. No one's thinking about ring 5. No one's thinking about ring 6. Take a step back and start thinking about end zone and work your way backwards from there. This is bad.
Yeah.
I think we need to
Die in rotation. Okay, I'm not even interested what happens here. They already made their mistake. Okay, those are my thoughts on this particular one. Was it TSM and ALGS split 4-1 playoffs? ALGS VODs, by the way, is created by Tim, who picked up from where Elben Gate Gaming left off. Tim is the fucking man. Hold on, let me type that in chat, please. Tim, you are the man. Just did a VOD review of this on my channel. Thank you so much for your hard work on this. It does not go unnoticed. Everybody, please follow Tim on Twitter and follow him on YouTube and just give him a thanks in the comments, dude. Like people like this, they don't do it for money. And in fact, like they probably don't need your money. You know, if they have the time to do this, then they're probably wealthy or well off, you know. So they probably don't need your money. Most likely they want a thank you. So go to Tim, give him a big thank you. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me before I get off? I am in my Discord if you want to hop in my Discord if you have any questions. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds or maybe a minute or two. And then if you guys don't have any questions in chat or in my Discord, I will end it right here. Let's look at Twitter. Oh, I got messages. Ah, yeah, Nihil's the man. Dude, Nihil was the original coach of Apex. He was like everyone's original coach. Came here for a VOD review and got life advice. Oh, shit, sorry. Didn't mean that. Look at Nihil. Nihil Apex. Bro, these are invaluable. Look at these, man. These are so good. Coach Nihil
To be like,
was
okay,
the GOAT. He is Legends Gaming's coach, which is Strafing Flames coach. Let me go to my channel. My channel. Valuable. Here we go. This is Nihil. There you go. All right. I'm gonna end the stream because I don't think anybody here has any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for dropping by the stream. Feel free to share. Oh, actually, one last thing, guys. If you can do me a favor, if you play R5 Reloaded, go to Colombia and donate him. If you found value in R5 Reloaded, he's the reason we have flow state. He's the reason that we're able to do a lot of the things that you love to do in R5 Reloaded. I would say that he's probably like, I don't know. The thing is, so he needs money, and everybody needs money. Like, look at this. I'm from Colombia, and I don't have a job other than modding Apex. He literally does this for free. He never asks for donations. He's a shy motherfucker. So if you can go into like in this country, $1 is a lot. If you enjoy my mods and want to support me, please consider a donation. I've already donated to Cafe. I've donated to him plenty of times. It would mean the world to me and to everybody at R5 Reloaded if you could donate to Cafe on his coffee. This is his page. I put it in the chat. Cafe is literally one of the coolest dudes. He is working tirelessly with everybody at R5 Reloaded on our new update, which I am not allowed to talk about. But if you think 1v1s has benefited you and professional Apex players greatly, you have no idea the things that we are dropping on the next big update. It will revolutionize how you approach the game and how professionals will approach the game. It will literally, the people who use our new tools and new training methods will be the people who have the biggest upper hand in future lands to come. Thank you very much for dropping by. I'm going to end the stream. Please donate to Cafe FPS. He is the reason that Flow State exists. So once again, please donate to him. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much. I had a great